Indiana is famous for sediments. And today I want to show you two activities you can do to better understand sediments and sedimentary rock. You see, sediments come from when rocks are weathered or broken down. Like this sandstone right here, that when it weathers, you make sand. Or this shale that used to be mud, and shale can be turned into bricks. And another sedimentary rock we have in Indiana is coal. Even chalk is a sedimentary rock. But the most famous sedimentary rock in probably all of Indiana, and maybe United States, is Indiana Limestone. And this is a piece of cut Indiana limestone. It's called dimensional stone because it is so famous because it's pure, small grains, and can be cut in any direction. And because of that, look behind me. This is a courthouse that is covered with dimensional Indiana limestone. It was a sediment in an ocean 320 million years ago when what is now Indiana was closer to the equator, and these sediments settled down and formed this beautiful limestone that's known all across the world. It can be carved, it's sustainable, and it lasts for a very, very long time. Indiana limestone, beautiful. Let's make a sediment jar. Okay, to do this, you need a jar and some water. So let's take our jar. I'm going to fill it up. If you don't have a nice jar like that, you could just use a water bottle. Just take the label off so you can see it. Since most of our sediments are formed by water erosion, we'll start with water. Let's add some gravel, maybe a handful of gravel, and look what it does. It goes right to the bottom. And then let's add some sand, another sediment from sandstone. And it goes to the bottom, and you're starting to see some things in suspension. Let's add 1 spoon of soil, which is a mixture. Soil is a mixture of living and non-living matter, abiotic, biotic. And you notice some of it floats and some of it sinks. And then I'm going to add one more thing, which is some peat moss. Peat moss is some dried plant material. Let's see what it does. Does it sink? Does it float? And it goes mostly on the top there. So if we just let things alone, they would not do too much. But here comes a big storm. Next thing you know, you can hear that sound, and that is a lot of energy, like a storm or a flood. And all those rocks are breaking down more and more. That's called weathering. And then if you stop and it slows down, the heavy things, the heavy sediments drop out the most. And if we waited, let's say we waited an hour, and I actually made this one this morning, and after an hour, you can see different layers according to how heavy and how the sediments settled down. Now all you have to do is wait 320 million years or more till these sediments turn into limestone like you see covering this building behind me. But if you don't want to wait that long, here's another activity you can do. And I'll tell you this, every time the kids see this in my class, they get real upset. Let's take a look at it. So I want to start with this map of Indiana with the old rocks here and the new rocks here. And let's see if I can make this very same model of a map like that. It's called the bread sediment. Okay? Here's my first layer. All right? On this bread sediment, later comes a new kind of sediment in Indiana. Water moves it down. I call it the yellow cheese sediment. Okay? Gets piled up. Along comes more bread sediment. Settles down. And then we have the sediment, something strange, some really strange fossils. You see the fossils in these sediments here? These fossils form, and they form a layer. We get some more silt and gravel. Layer. But then something interesting happened in Indiana. There was just the right climate and plants, and we got this very strange forest that grew in Indiana with certain types of trees and giant dragonflies, and it was a big, hot, swampy area. And for a long time, those sediments piled up here in Indiana. Sediments. They're all squeezed down now. So I can't wait for millions of years for a glacier, 1,000 years, so I'm going to use a model of the glacier, my wife's electric knife. As you can see, the knife is a model of the glaciers, and I'm cutting away so you can see the different layers, old at the bottom, the folds and the faults. And now, if you look at this next to Indiana, I got the Wabash and the Ohio River helped shape our state, and it got pushed up, and the glaciers came and cut off the rocks, so the old rocks are shown on the east. Looks like we have the coal right here on this side of Indiana. And right now, you know, the only thing that's missing, though, Lake Michigan is right up here. I'm going to have to find a way to put Lake Michigan. Oh, I know. Lake Michigan goes right about, forces that shaped Indiana, gravity, wind, water, ice, and me eating Lake Michigan. Hey, thanks for learning about sediment jars and Indiana limestone. That narrow band of about 10 miles wide, 30 miles long from Bedford to Bloomington that has limestone that's used all over the world. The Empire State Building, the Washington Monument, the Pentagon, even the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C. comes from Indiana limestone, some of the best carving material made by sediments in the world.